The last thing I did before boarding that plane was block my husband's number. I didn't scream at him. I didn't tell him I was leaving. I didn't confess anything. I just opened my phone, looked at his name, and pressed block. Then I slid my phone into my purse and walked toward the gate like I had just done something brave. At the time, it felt powerful. Now I know it was the moment I destroyed my own life. My name is Caroline. I'm 52 years old, and until 8 months ago, I had been married to my husband David for 26 years. We had built a quiet life together in a small town outside Nashville. Nothing flashy, nothing dramatic, just routines, habits, shared glances across the dinner table. The kind of marriage people describe as steady. And somewhere along the way, I convinced myself steady meant dead. David was a good man. He worked in insurance for almost 30 years. He never forgot birthdays. He never missed a mortgage payment. Every Sunday morning, he made coffee before I even got out of bed. He wasn't romantic in big, showy ways, but he was consistent, dependable, safe. Safe started to feel suffocating. It happened slowly. I started noticing younger women at restaurants laughing too loudly with their husbands. I started comparing our quiet dinners to the excitement I saw online. I told myself we had lost something. I told myself I deserved to feel wanted again. That's when I met Daniel. It was at a professional conference in Dallas. He was charming in a way that felt effortless. He asked about my work like it mattered. He held eye contact longer than most people do. He complimented my dress, nothing outrageous, just enough to wake something up inside me that had been asleep for years. We exchanged numbers for networking. That's what I told myself. The texts started innocent, then they got playful, then personal. Daniel told me I was beautiful. He told me I had an energy that lit up a room. No one had said things like that to me in a long time. David asked one night casually, "You've been smiling at your phone a lot. Everything okay?" I laughed it off. 2 months later, Daniel suggested a weekend trip to Cabo. No pressure, he said, just two adults who deserve a little excitement. I hesitated for exactly one day. Then I booked the flight. I told David I was attending a last-minute training seminar. He didn't question it. He kissed me goodbye at the airport and told me to call when I landed. Instead, I blocked him. The first day in Cabo felt unreal. The ocean was bright blue. The air smelled like salt and sunscreen. Daniel held my hand like I was something precious. We walked along the beach at sunset, and I felt alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. My phone buzzed repeatedly that first evening before I blocked David. Missed calls, texts. "Did you land safely? Caroline, please just check in. I'm getting worried." I didn't want guilt interrupting my fantasy, so I silenced it, literally. For 6 days, I lived in a version of myself that didn't have responsibilities. No history, no marriage, just attention and excitement. Daniel made me feel chosen, desired, younger. I told myself I would deal with the consequences later. When I landed back home, something felt off immediately. The driveway looked normal. The lawn was trimmed, but David's truck wasn't there. I told myself he was at work. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. Silence. Not the usual quiet, not the hum of the refrigerator or the faint sound of the television in the background. This silence echoed. The living room looked bigger. His recliner was gone. The framed photos that had covered the hallway wall for 25 years were missing. Pale rectangular outlines marked where they used to hang. The bookshelf was half empty. The small wooden bowl where he kept his keys was gone. My chest tightened. I walked into the kitchen slowly. On the counter sat a single envelope with my name written in David's handwriting. I already knew. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were divorce papers, signed, filed. There was also a note. "I tried to reach you for 3 days. I thought you were hurt. When I realized you blocked me, I understood. I won't compete for my own wife. I won't beg to be respected. I hope he was worth it. David." I don't remember sitting down, but I ended up on the kitchen floor. The house felt hollow, like someone had scooped out its center. I ran to the bedroom. His side of the closet was empty. Every hanger gone, the dresser drawers were cleared out. Even the old sweatshirt he wore every winter was missing. He hadn't left in anger. He had left in clarity. I tried calling him immediately, straight to voicemail. I tried emailing, no response. I texted from a friend's phone, nothing. It's amazing how quickly power turns into panic. I drove to his brother's house the next morning. His sister-in-law opened the door and looked at me like she already knew everything. "He doesn't want to see you," she said gently. "He deserves peace." Peace. That word followed me home like a ghost. Daniel stopped answering my calls 2 weeks later. When I told him David had filed for divorce, his tone changed. The excitement faded. I didn't expect this to get so complicated, he said. You were fun because it was fun. That's when I realized something brutal. I wasn't chosen. I was convenient. Within a month, I had lost my husband and my illusion. The house that once felt boring now felt enormous and empty. I would wake up reaching for him out of habit. The coffee maker sat untouched most mornings because I couldn't stand making it just for myself. I replayed everything in my mind, the missed calls, the blocked messages, the last text he sent before I cut him off. Caroline, I'm worried about you. Please just tell me you're safe. He wasn't suspicious. He wasn't accusing. He was concerned. And I punished him for it. 6 months later, I heard through mutual friends that he moved to Colorado. Smaller house. New job, fresh start. Someone said he looks lighter, happier. That hurt more than anger would have. Because it meant he wasn't broken. He was free. People think affairs are about passion. They're not. They're about ego, about wanting to feel important again, about chasing a version of yourself that never really existed. I told myself I was finding happiness. What I was really doing was running from routine. And routine, I've learned, is just another word for commitment. If you're listening to this and you feel bored in your marriage, please understand something. Boredom can be fixed. Communication can be repaired. Excitement can be rebuilt. But respect, once broken, rarely returns the same way. I blocked my husband during my secret affair trip because I didn't want guilt interfering with pleasure. When I came back, everything was gone, not because he was dramatic, not because he was weak, but because he valued himself enough to walk away. I used to think strength meant staying no matter what. Now I understand. Sometimes strength is leaving quietly. And sometimes the cost of one selfish decision is an entire lifetime of regret. If I could go back to that airport gate, I would answer his call. I would tell him the truth. I would choose the life we built instead of the fantasy I chased. But life doesn't rewind. It only teaches. And sometimes the lesson is this. The person who loves you quietly and consistently is far more valuable than the one who excites you temporarily. I learned that too late. And now, every time my phone lights up, I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't pressed block.